there. I've had quite a few people contact me and ask me, what happened with your eye? People are confused about what happened with my eye. And then when I tell them what happened with my eye, they are freaked out and they are afraid that it might happen to them. And they want to know what are the causes and the risk factors and the signs of retinal detachment. So I want to share that information with you and also share with you why it's very important that you get proper medical examination and treatment as soon as possible if you might be having a retinal detachment. So here is my experience. Back in July, my husband and I were driving around and I started experiencing what I call black clouds or black shadows going across my line of vision. Doctors call this a veil or a curtain, but it's not really like a veil or a curtain at all. It's not a straight dark line that comes down over your line of vision. It's really like black clouds or black shadows that just randomly go around in your vision. I occasionally get migraines, and before I get a migraine, I get dark visual auras similar to that. So I thought, I guess I'm going to get a migraine today, but I never got a migraine and it never went away. So of course I went to Google and I mostly found information about floaters. So after a few weeks, I went to my optometrist and I told her what I was experiencing, and she gave me an eye exam and she said she could not find anything at all wrong with my eyes. And she explained to me that we all have something in our eyes called vitreous gel. And it is a normal part of the aging process that when we reach a certain maturity, our vitreous gel detaches in our eyes. And some people do see their vitreous gel floating around in their eye, and it looks like dark clouds or dark shadows. She told me that our brains do this really amazing thing when we have floaters, and that after a while, our brain signals our mind, hey, you don't need to notice those floaters anymore. So even though they're still there and they're still in our line of vision, we don't notice them. So I left her office feeling really excited for the day when my brain was going to kick in and I was not going to notice those floaters anymore. But a few weeks passed and it wasn't getting any better, and it was really troubling me. And my eye was starting to feel weird. You know how you usually can't feel your eye at all? You don't even know it's there. And my eye just started feeling weird. Doctors call this your eye feeling heavy. So I went back to my optometrist again. And I said, I'm still seeing these dark shadows just as much. And my eye is feeling weird. And I feel like something's wrong. So she did another examination. It was more intense than the first one. She used different lights and different cameras. And she said, nothing's wrong with your eye. You're just having floaters and dry eye. So she gave me some eye drops to use, told me to come back in a few weeks. So I went back in a few weeks. Same thing. Nothing wrong with your eye. You're just having some floaters and some dry eye. She said, but if you start seeing flashes of light, let me know right away, because flashes of light are a sign of retinal detachment, and that is very serious. Sure enough, I started seeing flashes of light. It wasn't really extreme. It wasn't really dramatic. It wasn't all the time. But when I was in a dark room, like a movie theater, or after I went to bed at night and it was completely dark, occasionally I would see little flashes of light, and only when I turned my eye in a certain direction. So I went to see her again, and I said, it's happening. I'm seeing flashes of light. So she did another exam. And she maintained that everything I was experiencing was just floaters, including the flashes of light. And ultimately, I saw her 4 times. And on my last visit, she was quite dismissive about my experience and my feelings. And I think she thought I was a little bit cuckoo. And she told me that I needed a new prescription and new glasses. And she said, if you want to go see a retina specialist, it won't hurt my feelings. They've been to 4 more years of school than I've been to. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a retina specialist. I'd never had a problem with my eye like this before, and she had never mentioned a retina specialist before. So I left her office kind of doubting myself. I thought, well, she's a doctor. She knows what she's doing. And if I needed to go see a retina specialist, surely she would say, you need to go see a retina specialist. So I dismissed and discounted my own gut feelings for a few more weeks. And I Googled again and found that I was having literally every sign of retinal detachment. And a friend of mine who is also an optometrist said, you need to go see a retina specialist immediately. And she recommended someone to me. So I went to see a retina specialist. And he said, you are having retina detachment. Now, if the optometrist had sent me to a retina specialist back in July, at this point it was September, but if she had sent me back in July, he probably could have corrected it with a laser, which is much less invasive and traumatic than a full retina reattachment surgery. Now, luckily, my retina had not completely detached. It was just a partial detachment. I was very fortunate. But it was past the point of being fixed with a laser. I did have to have actual surgery. So he did my retina reattachment surgery. And a couple of things happened during the surgery. He put a buckle in my eye. Think about a belt being put around your eye to kind of hold your eye in a certain shape, kind of hold everything in place. That's what a buckle is. So now I have a buckle in my eye and that will be there forever. He put a gas bubble in my eye, and the point of the gas bubble is to hold everything together and in place while your retina is healing and scarring into place. Now the bubble dissipates, but it takes about 4 weeks for the bubble to go away. And when the gas bubble is in your eye, you can't see anything. You can't see through a gas bubble. So you can't see anything out of your eye for quite a while. It's very important that you're in a certain position while the gas bubble is in your eye. So for 2 full weeks, I had to be face down 24/7. When I say face down, I mean your face has got to be perpendicular with the ground 24/7, including at night when you are sleeping. So we rented a special chair that they make for this, and it's a lifesaver. I don't know how anybody would get through this without one of those chairs. So for 2 full weeks, I was face down 24/7. Then I was able to sleep only on my right side for 2 weeks. Then I was able to also sleep on my left side for 2 weeks. And then I was able to sleep on my back again. Something else that happens when you have retina reattachment surgery is you develop a cataract on your eye, because the retina reattachment surgery is a traumatic injury to your eye. And a cataract develops just like you get a scar on an injury. So I had my retina reattachment surgery in September, and then just last week in December, I had my cataract removed. I was not able to see well enough to even drive myself anywhere for 3 whole months. So it is quite an ordeal. And it is very important that if you have got any of the signs, or especially all of the signs of retina detachment, it's very important that you go to a retina specialist as soon as possible. The sooner, the better. Because if they can do laser to treat it, when it's at its very early stage, it's so much better than having to have the full retina reattachment surgery. The other thing that I want to share with you is that your eye feels different after you've had retina reattachment surgery. None of the doctors warned me about that. My eye is droopy now. and it feels uncomfortable. It feels like something is in my eye all the time, and that's the buckle. And I did not expect that. I did not expect drooping. I did not expect to have this uncomfortable feeling in my eye all the time. So just so you know, it's a new normal after you have a retina reattachment surgery. So now you know about retina detachment and retina reattachment surgery. As far as the causes and the risk factors, if you have a traumatic eye injury, that can cause a retina detachment. Risk factors. If you are extremely nearsighted, that can be a risk factor. And I am extremely nearsighted. I have been since I was a kid. So that can be a risk factor for retina detachment. But retina detachment is actually quite rare. It's not something that you need to be afraid of or, paranoid about. It's very rare, but it's good to know the signs. And again, if you've got any of the signs, or especially all of the signs, please go to a retina specialist as soon as possible. All right, so I hope that helped, and I hope that it helps somebody to know the signs. And take care of yourselves and take care of your eyes, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.